I am grateful to be here. I am really grateful to be here in this community of humans and Jews who want to cultivate awareness and mindfulness. I really believe with the Hasidic masters that, you know, the tikkun of the world, and the world really needs tikkun, the world really needs repair, starts with the tikkun of the individual, the tikkun of each of us. And I cannot say enough how much friends who are here today, and I'm looking at just a few of you that I can see right now. I'm actually moving my browser so I can see your beautiful faces. I cannot say enough how much your practice matters to the world right now. So I want to start with this. I want to start by thanking you and by saying how much I honor your presence. And obviously, but the obvious needs to be said also, how grateful I am for IGS and for this space and for Rabbi Mark. It's not to be taken for granted, friends. It's not to be taken for granted. We are one day before Hanukkah. And for me in Israel, it's very real because it's dark already. And I really felt this year that I was getting more excited about it than usual, because of the message of it. Because I feel sometimes we need miracles, because I feel we need light, because I feel we need to believe in a hidden light that is still here and that's going to be suddenly lit up, and that will start very, very small, but that will grow. So I'm very delighted to be here with us today. And this time I want to start with the teaching before we go in the meditation. And the teaching I want to offer about Hanukkah is based on this week's parasha, Parashat Vayeshev, from a teaching of the Hasidic master, the Mei HaShiloach, who is his book was published in the mid-19th century. So it's 1 century after really the beginning of modern Hasidut. Very, very deep teachings. And his teaching on Parashat Vayeshev is not talking about Hanukkah, but I'm reading it in this light. And speaking of light, usually when talking about Hanukkah, we speak about the contrast between darkness and light, right? Between the black, the dark, the choshech, and then the light. And there is another kind of duality. There is another couple of paradoxes, another movement in Hanukkah, which is the movement from the nistar, the hidden, to the nigle, the revealed. And this is what I want to talk about in the light of a story that is at the end of our parasha, which is the story of Yehuda and Tamar. And so before I share with you my source sheet, I just want to kind of recap the story for us. On the pshat level, on the simple meaning of reading, it's not it's not the most beautiful, inspiring story. The pshat is a bit difficult. You may know the story. And then you'll see in the teaching how much with Hasidut and Kabbalah, when we go in deeper levels of reading, of understanding, we really are talking about something deep and profound, profoundly wise and beautiful. The story, as I will say it right now, the way I'll say it is the story of repairing, of tikkun, of repairing an injustice. And it's an injustice that was done to a woman. And this woman is Tamar. Tamar is the daughter-in-law of Yehuda, who is one of the sons of Yaakov. And it's important to us because we are Bnei Israel, we are the sons of Yaakov. But today, colloquially, we are the Jews, we are Yehudim, so we're called after Yehuda. So we really are the heirs of this lineage, this grandfather Yaakov, Israel, and this father-in-law of Tamar, Yehuda. And Yehuda had 3 sons, and he gave his first son in marriage. He gave Tamar. and they got married, and he died. And then he gave him his second son, and he died. And then he got scared. He gave her his second son. He got scared. He wanted to protect his third son. And so he said, go back to the house of your father. And when my son is in age, you will marry him. So she understands she is stuck for life. And probably maybe she's bound to have no children because, she's an adult woman. And, if she has to wait 20 years for this child to grow so she can marry him, it's a way of saying, just go back to your father, period. And let's pretend I'll give you a husband, because at the time in this kind of patriarchal society, it was his duty because she had entered their family and to provide for her and also to give her the opportunity to become a mother, to have a family. And as we are at a time where the injustice done to women is very much spoken about lately, this is another form of injustice. And here Tamar takes agency. She takes her destiny into her own hands, and she tricks Yehuda, right? She pretends she's a prostitute. She veils herself so also he doesn't recognize her, and she waits for him, on the road. He lays with her, and she has a child. And then she's at risk of being killed because she's a single woman with a child. But then she asks him, to admit that it's him. And he does admit, he admits. And this is where I want to open my soul sheet. Let's see. Oops. Okay. And I believe it's being shared also in the chat if you need it. I called it another movement for Chanukah. כי יהודה חשבה לזונה, כי כסתה פניה. Yehuda thought she was a prostitute because she had covered her face, which really means that the matter was concealed. This is the interpretation, right? Ha'inu שהדבר היה בסוד מהשם יתברך. It was a secret from God. You may know that there are 4 levels of reading of a text in the Jewish tradition: Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. Pshat is the simple level, the surface level. That's the story I just told you, and that is the fact that she's being seen as a prostitute. And then you have Remez, which is the hint, Drash, the interpretation, and Sod, the mystique. And that's the realm of the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists, and also the Hasidim, who play in between these different playgrounds. Here, he's going directly, the Mea Shiloach, the Ishbitza Rebbe, he's going directly into the Sod. He's going directly into the mystical. And look what he's doing. I think it's also very beautiful. And this is something quite common in mystique, right? That the prostitute is sometimes the goddess. You find this in Hinduism also, right? There is like another side to the same coin. And there is a lot of kind of turning upside down like this in Chanukah. And so it's a sod. It's something really deep. We know that the Torah, for instance, is described as a woman who is veiled and who kind of hides herself and uncovers herself just enough so as to kind of attract her lover, which is us. We are the lover of Torah. So it's something really deep and noble and beautiful, beautiful. And then he's going into the Talmud in Masechet Sota, just focusing on this sentence when Yehuda says, she's tzodeket, she's tzadika mimeni, she's righteous, she's more righteous than I am. And he's focusing on the mimeni, than I am, from me. And he says, actually, mimeni also means from me, that something is coming out of me, that something from me is coming, something hidden. And this is also a child, this is a baby, is coming from the hiddenness. And this is a teaching of the Mea Shiloach, that there is the thing that is the most precious, which is a child, which is life. But here also, that basically the secret of the kingdom of the house of David HaMelech, will come from there. Like it's a long lineage. So we're moving from a prostitute to really the kingdom of the house of David. Okay? And the concealment is really what enables the revelation. So I want to stop sharing my screen here and invite us to sit with this, to sit and honor something that is concealed, something that is hidden, which is this force of life that we have. This force of life, this force of truth, this little light, which will be revealed starting tomorrow night. So I want to invite us to close our eyes. And to adjust our posture if we need to. Making sure you have enough height under your buttock if you're sitting on a cushion, so that your knees are not too much up in the air, and your lower back is straight and long. If you're sitting on a chair, the invitation is to sit with your legs uncrossed, feet parallel. Your hands are resting on your lap. And we're all the bearers of light. The light of hope, the light of truth, the light of justice. Just as Tamar did for herself and also for her family and for humanity. It's what she did. She didn't do just for her. She taught all of us a lesson. She taught Yehuda. She taught the whole city, the whole community a lesson. And she's teaching, still teaching us today. And it all starts in the hiddenness of the light within. And so as we're the bearers of our own light, I want to invite you to feel your body as the Chanukiah, as the candle holder, which will bear and support your light tomorrow. Sitting as a Chanukiah, friends, meaning really embodying a sense of yetzivut, of stability, of groundedness. Solidity. I want to invite you to drop your brain into your belly, into your feet, so that you really become this menorah, this candle holder. And from this place of perfect stillness, noticing the movement of your breath, just like the movement of the flame. Something alive is always moving. And so I'm grounding in the stillness of my body. And my attention is following the movement of my thought, of my breath, the in breath, the out breath. And the movements of my thoughts, I let them be. I just let them be. And when they will take me, because obviously thoughts are going to take me somewhere else than in my embodied presence right now, I'll just notice where I was. And I'll thank myself for noticing. I'll celebrate myself for noticing the light of consciousness. And I'll simply come back to the utter simplicity of this body sitting and this breath breathing. And keep inviting back my presence to my breath, to my body sitting, my little flame, my little light inside that hasn't come out yet. And just like a flame following the movement of my breath. Now I want to invite you to focus on the solar plexus, the heart center, if you'd like, for the last few minutes of this sit. And to feel really a light here, a warmth here. It's something that yet needs to be revealed, waits to be revealed. Your unique light. And maybe it feels very accessible and maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I want to invite you to invite faith. It took faith for the Chanukah miracle to happen. Faith that yes, there is a light here that matters to the world. And feel free to do what I just did spontaneously. I just placed a hand on my heart. The unique light of this Neshama. It is really the light of the divine shining through me. Mimeni, as Yehuda said, from me. There is something that yet awaits to come forth out of me. So can we feel it? Can we start by feeling it? What is a light I yet need to share with the world? And small aspect of me I haven't revealed yet, or maybe not enough. And just like it took Tamar 9 months to have a baby, for us, it's a process also to reveal ourselves. It can be years, can be days, can be a lifetime. And each year in Hanukkah, it's this idea that the invitation to reveal our unique light to the world is renewed. As the lights of Hanukkah, they have to be lit from within a home and to be seen from the outside. So it's really my light from within me, many from me. And then now is the time. Now is the time to reveal it to the world. And it starts so small. It starts with just one little light. And so as we come to seal our meditation for today, I want to invite you to remember yourself. Whichever way you came today to this meditation, can you honor this little light so that you can start revealing it to the world tomorrow? And it may be that nothing changes on the surface of things. It's not about making grand, changes. It's just a mindset. Oh yeah, I'm going to close on this. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Take a beautiful breath in and out. Oops. And let's get ready to say Kaddish with Rabbi Mark.
Thank you so much, Mira. As always, such beautiful teaching and practice. And friends, we seal it as we do each time, offering an opportunity for those of you who are in mourning, observing yahrzeit if it's your custom to join in Kaddish to do so. If you're not reciting Kaddish, if you would, and if you're able, please stay present for those who are, and offer your presence, your attention, your support, your compassion in their time of need. And you can put the name or names of those you're honoring today in the chat now, right after we recite Kaddish. And if you are reciting Kaddish, I invite you to join me by rising in body or in spirit, and we can unmute at this time. Yitgadal, Yitadash, Shemei Rabba,
Amen.
Yamad, Yirach, Malchutei, Vayechon, V'yamechon, V'chaye V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'alad B'zman Kariv, Yehei Shmei Rabba Mitzvah, Amaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yinaseh, Yithadar V'yitaleh, V'yitalav Shmei Kedusha La'ela Mikol Birchata V'Shirata V'Shachata V'Nechemata Ta'amiram Ba'ava V'Yiru
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba
Rabba
Mitzvah V'Chaim Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael Amen.
Amen.
Shalom B'Mirma
Shalom
Shalom
b'lamav, hu yaseh
Aleinu
shalom,
V'Kol
aleinu
Yisrael
v'yakol
V'Yakol
Yisrael,
Yoshvei
v'yakol
Tevel
yoshvei
Amen.
tevel,
V'Yiru
v'yamru,
Amen.
amen.
Amen. Thank you so much to everyone for being here today. Thanks to our teacher for today, Rabba Dr. Mira Neshama Weil, for leading us so beautifully. I'm going to put in the chat a link to opportunities to learn and practice with Mira through Or Halev, our sibling organization, and ongoing practice as well. So happy to spread the word about those wonderful offerings. Thanks to Jordan Pollock for holding our tech space today, and thanks to each of you for being here. Just a reminder, tomorrow we hope you'll join us for a regularly scheduled session that will serve a double purpose as a recovery meditation as well for those who are in recovery or curious about recovery. And Jenna Zadaka of At the Well will lead us to sit into Shabbat together on Friday. If you're leaving us now, you're welcome to stay and just to continue to use this community space to sit together or to share reflections on your experience with the practice in the chat or raise a question for Rabba Mira. And I'll keep an eye on the chat for that as well. And Jordan, if you don't mind reposting the link to the source sheet for today, that would be great. Thanks so much. And Mira, let's bring you in. Thank you so much. The story of Judah and Tamar, of course, it's like it's there in the midst of this extended Joseph narrative. I really appreciated you lifting it up. Of course, as you said, the Pshat is like such a challenging story in so many ways, but it's really quite amazing. And a lot of people probably know that the Jewish narrative of redemption runs through that story, right? That the whole idea of the Messiah, the Mashiach, the Davidic lineage arises from that. And then, of course, there's another challenging story with David and Bathsheba later also. So there's something there that is worth unpacking. And I love that you brought this teaching from the Mehashiloach about, which lifts up the idea that Hanukkah and this time of year, and maybe the Joseph narrative too, is about revealing that which is hidden. And I love that, and I loved how you applied that to imagining what is what is hidden within us as this hidden reserve. So I just want to invite you to expand on that a little bit. Like, what do you make of that? That this, that whole Jewish concept of geula, of redemption, really takes root. That this is the origin of the redemptive process. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's almost a universal metaphor or movement, really from the lowest lows to the highest heights. Because I'm thinking of the Hasidic really ethos, which keeps repeating us, that you go down so that you can go up. And here it's like really this movement of a woman who has nothing, and she could have stayed stuck there, at her father's home, but she decided, think about it, she decided to go down, right, to kind of play the prostitute, so that she could go up after. And so we have this story from which, will come David HaMelech. We have Ruth, who is a prostitute. Ruth, Ruth, who is not Jewish.
We have enough problems.
Oh, we have enough prostitutes for tonight also.
Right.
I mean, it's just this idea that from people who are on the outside, from people who are marginals, comes from salvation. In the kind of Jewish narrative. And I think it's so powerful that, and Ruth, by the way, Ruth is coming from a horrible thing. She's, her lineage is the Lot and the daughters of Lot who slept with her father. So it's like taking the darkest darkness of humanity, incest, prostitution, right? Violence, David and Bathsheba, there is violence in the background. And then redemption, this is alchemy. This is really the capacity we have to kind of really come from the lowest lows and go up to the highest heights, because we've grown from it. Because when we go through the darkest deep, we learn humility, we learn courage, we learn resilience. And I was starting by saying it's a universal theme because I keep thinking of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen monk, who has this book I love that is called No Mud, No Lotus, the art of transforming suffering. So it's a very Buddhist theme as well. Right.
But maybe say a little bit more about that, because you're speaking and teaching from a Jewish mystical perspective, which is a non-dualistic perspective, and we apply that to Hanukkah, where we have darkness and light, and in a simple way, right? There is a sense that, well, the darkness is problematic, the light is what we're trying to promote, but actually that the darkness is necessary, that there's holiness, there's kedusha in the darkness, and that the point is not to escape from the darkness, but actually to learn from it, to extract from it something. And is that how maybe you can comment a little bit about that? Is that really, you're talking about tshuva, about redemption out of very problematic behavior, of transforming that into something sacred.
Yeah, I'm really glad you are mentioning this, because I'm actually a great advocate of darkness. And someone here was talking about pregnancy. Absolutely. I mean, pregnancy is such a deep embodied metaphor for processes. Processes happen in the dark. Processes happen in the hiddenness, which is, most Jewish holidays are so attuned to seasons. So if I'm speaking in the context of Israel and the West, I'm not talking in the context of the South Hemisphere, but in Israel, where this started, Hanukkah is at the time of winter, where everything is under the earth. There's nothing to see. Darkness is such a fertile space. Creativity starts within, in silence. There is nothing to see, and that's so precious. And so I think it's very important to grow from the very simple kind of reductive alternatives of, you know, dark and light, and dark is bad and light is good. It's actually, and the Zohar the Zohar has this insane teaching on Parashat Tetzaveh, where they say it's quite a radical. They say there is no light but that which comes out of the darkness, which is true, literally. There is no good but that which comes out of the bad. It's quite strong. It's a quite strong teaching, but it's like this idea that there is something that emerges not against something, not as an alternative, but from. You see, it's like through, from mimeni, from the darkness. And each of us here on the screen right now who have been through hardship in our life, and it's happened to each of us, I'm sure, from our darkest moments have come our greatest growth, our greatest light. So the light is something that is born out of darkness, not that comes against as a response to. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Darkness is our friend.
It is, and it's what you just said, and the no mud, no lettuce is also making me thinking about the speech or the quote by Valerie Kaur. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, who gave that speech when in a dark time, when she said, maybe this is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb, connecting it to pregnancy and new life, new birth, new potential. And it's interesting that we're at the time of the month, just before Hanukkah, of course, where the nights are getting progressively darker. But even the first 5 nights of Hanukkah, the sky is still getting darker, right? Because Rosh Chodesh doesn't arrive until night 6, when the light begins to increase in the sky. So there's something really powerful, like the darkness really plays a very important role in our spiritual practice around Hanukkah, even into Hanukkah itself. So one more question from, I lost it, but it was about the Shamash. Here it is. Okay, from Lori. Embodying the Chanukia, my brain is the Shamash. But what is the true Shamash? Is it the soul, passion, desire, kavanah, the kol mamad daka? I guess what you were suggesting, what I heard at least, was this idea of like really imagining ourselves as that shamash, but it's before the shamash is lit. It's about experiencing that, some sacred energy that is present, right? So I guess Lori's question is really about where can we notice that in our mind, in our body, in our emotions, all the above.
The light that yet needs to be revealed. So first of all, I would say most of the time I would say get out of your mind when you meditate. It has a place, the mind, it has a great place, and we use it a lot during the day, but actually we're learning to bring our awareness lower in our body. In Hebrew, paying attention, tzumet lev, and then mindfulness, it literally means placing our heart. So there is something in the heart center, lasim lev, to pay attention. In Hebrew, a lot about presence and mindfulness is in the heart. So usually it's a good place to feel that, the solar plexus. You can also feel it in your belly. By the way, the heart, the solar plexus, in the tree of life of the Sfirot, it's Tiferet. It's harmony, it's Yaakov, it's Israel, it's us, it's the harmony, it's there. So that's a very important point in the Jewish Kilu tradition, and in many world traditions, also the solar plexus. So.
Okay, I think we're going to end here. Lots of good comments and much appreciation in the chat, as always, Mira. I just want to thank you for that. And once again, put the links to the opportunities for practicing with Mira, and it's just such a joy, Mira, to have the opportunity to connect with you and learn from you and practice with you each month, and very, very grateful for the connection between you and this community. And once again, all of us, of course, are sending you and everyone there our love and strength and our prayers. So until the next time we see you, hope you can continue to feel that, and Chagurim Sameach, to the extent to which the light can shine there. Hope you can take that in. And the same true for all of you. So we hope to see everyone tomorrow. Thanks, Jordan, for holding our space. Thanks, each of you, for being here.
Thank
Many
you, Jordan.
blessings.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Chanukah Sameach.